When we think about getting better with money, our minds immediately go to spreadsheets, right? Stock charts, complex analysis. But what if I told you the most important factor isn't how smart you are, but how you act? That's the core idea we're going to unpack from Morgan Housel's amazing book, The Psychology of Money.
All right, so to kick things off, I want to share a story that just completely flips the script on who we assume gets rich. It's this incredible real-life example that proves a fancy degree and a big-shot job, well, they don't guarantee a thing.
So, let me just ask you straight up. Picture this. On one side, you got a janitor and gas station attendant. On the other, a high-flying Merrill Lynch executive with a Harvard MBA. Who do you think ends up wealthier? Come on, place your bets.
Yeah, the answer is probably not what you'd guess. Get this. Ronald Reed, the janitor, quietly built up an $8 million fortune. How? By just saving what he could and being patient. And Richard Fiscone, the exec, he went bankrupt. It's just such a powerful reminder that with money, how you behave crushes what you know on paper every single time.
And that story, man, it just perfectly captures the whole point here. Financial success isn't some hard science, It's not about complex formulas. It's a soft skill. It's about your psychology, your patience, your humility.
Okay, so if it's all about behavior, then we've got to ask the big question. Why are we so, weird with money sometimes? Why do we do such irrational things? Let's dive into our own brains and see what's going on in there.
I love this quote. It's such a brilliant paradox, isn't it? People do some crazy things with money, but no one is crazy. We see someone make a financial choice that looks absolutely bonkers to us, and we're quick to judge. But the thing is, their decision probably makes perfect sense to them based on their own life.
I mean, think about it like this. Your personal experience with money, everything you've ever seen or lived through, it might feel like everything, but it's really just this tiny, tiny sliver of what's happened in the world. Yet, that tiny sliver basically dictates your entire worldview on how money works. So it seems nuts to you, might be totally logical for someone else. We're all basically walking around with our own very personal and very incomplete maps of the financial world.
And one of the biggest blind spots on that map, we just can't seem to properly account for two massive forces, luck and risk. It's so easy to look at success and say, wow, pure skill, and look at failure and think, well, they were just lazy. But the reality is, luck and its evil twin, risk, are always playing a role.
A perfect example is Bill Gates. The guy is a genius, absolutely no question. But he also had this 1 in a million piece of luck. He happened to go to one of the only high schools in the world that had a computer back in 1968. Now, that doesn't take away from his hard work at all. It just shows that huge success is almost never just one thing. It's this messy, complex cocktail of skill and chance.
All right, so our brains are biased, and luck plays a huge role. I know that might sound a little discouraging, but it actually points us toward the real secret to building wealth. And it's something incredibly simple and totally underrated, the power of just sticking around. See, the most powerful skill in finance has almost nothing to do with earning the absolute highest returns. It's not about being a genius who picks the next Amazon. It's about being durable. It's about being able to stick around long enough for the magic of compounding to really kick in. You have to survive the crashes, survive your own dumb mistakes, and just stay in the game. You want proof? Look at Warren Buffett. This number is just mind-blowing. Out of his entire fortune, a staggering $81.5 billion was earned after his 65th birthday. Think about that. It wasn't just that he was a great investor, it's that he's been a great investor for an incredibly long time. His real superpower? It's time. His longtime partner, the legendary Charlie Munger, said it perfectly. The first rule of compounding is to never interrupt it unnecessarily. And that's the hard part, right? Not getting spooked and selling low, not getting greedy and taking some crazy risk, just letting it work.
So how can you actually adopt this survival mindset? Well, first, stop trying to hit home runs. Just aim for consistent gains over a long, long time. Second, you've got to plan on your plan not going according to plan. That means building a margin of safety, cash savings, not too much debt, basically room for error. And third, you need to be what he calls a barbell personality. Be super optimistic about the long term, but totally paranoid about what could wipe you out tomorrow.
Okay, and this whole idea of survival, it leads us to a really critical distinction. It's one that might just redefine what you're actually aiming for with your money. And that's the difference between being rich and being wealthy. Yeah, they are not the same thing. So being rich, that's visible. That's the fancy car, the big house, the high salary. It's easy to see.
But wealth? Wealth is hidden. It's the income you don't spend. It's the assets in your brokerage account quietly compounding. So put simply, rich buys you stuff. Wealth buys you control over your time.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? The only way to be wealthy is to not spend the money you have. I mean, that is the literal definition of wealth. It's not about showing off, it's about what you keep.
But why? Why is that the goal? Because the greatest thing money can buy isn't a luxury car or a bigger house. The real prize, the ultimate goal, is freedom.
And what is freedom? It's the ability to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, for as long as you want. That right there is the highest dividend money will ever pay you. Just waking up in the morning knowing you have options. No fancy car can ever compete with that feeling.
So, when we pull all these threads together, it leads to one simple, powerful conclusion. You have to figure out what financial game you're playing, and then you have to play it by your rules.
So let's recap some of those core lessons. First, remember that getting money and keeping money are two totally different skills. One requires risk, the other humility. Second, the real goal is always freedom, control over your time. Third, that whole man-in-the-car paradox? Yeah, nobody is as impressed with your stuff as you are. And finally, and maybe most importantly, don't take your cues from other people. You have no idea what game they're playing. And really, that's what this all boils down to. There's no single right answer here. What's right for a 22-year-old trying to make a quick buck is completely wrong for a 60-year-old trying to retire. It's why they say personal finance is more personal than it is finance.
So this is kind of the final crucial takeaway. Beware of taking financial advice or inspiration from people who are playing a different game than you. You see that guy on social media with the rented Lamborghini? You have no idea what his goals are, what his timeline is, or how much debt he's in. The biggest danger is trying to keep up with people who aren't even running the same race as you. So I'll leave you with a question to chew on. After hearing all this, if you had to write down your own single, core financial truth on an index card, something to keep you grounded, what would it say? What's the one rule that's going to help you play your game and